Oh man. So yeah, just one last topic. Let's talk about old Carmelo. Old Carmelo is back in the news. His camp, remember the guy that I covered, that his spokesperson, that is the baby shaker, who was hurt kids, who's been convicted of, I don't know, 19, 20 felonies. It still represents that family. And I said before, the biggest thing that family could do would be to get rid of that representation. Absolutely. And they just, they're still holding on to him. But anyways, here's Carmelo. The name of the story is Carmelo Anthony's camp's worst mistakes. And they've been humiliating the victim's father. Remember, the victim's father came into that first press conference and wanted to pray with the family. That would be Austin Metcalf, the victim in this. His dad tried to come pray with the perpetrator's family in a huge move towards him. Just wanted to pray with them, and just that, because he knows that their son is also a child, basically. And let's just watch this little update.
Actually costed Carmelo extra years in prison.
I agree.
So many extra years. You wanted me to expound on that further because you had not heard anyone make that point. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm giving you the perspective, not of a YouTuber reacting to news, but of an attorney who's practiced for more than 20 years.
I absolutely made that point. And I'm sure, I'm just a little YouTuber out here, trying to make it. But that was one of the points I made, was that like, look, the judge and the public opinion means a lot in a case like this, to ask for more money, to apply for an indigent lawyer, to race bait the community, that this has become a racial issue, is what their spokesperson has said, which wasn't happening. When Carmelo gets sentenced, or even with the charges filed, when the deal gets made for Carmelo, which is what he should do, is take a deal to avoid the death penalty and to avoid life without parole. He needs to show compassion to the victim in this, to show remorse. And because he hasn't, instead of, maybe 20 years, he's probably going to get life because of the actions he's done and the representation that he's acquired since the incident. But let's listen to what this lawyer has to say.
Behind the scenes info. So let's get to it. Now, let me explain on how Carmelo's mother basically sentenced her own son Carmelo to an extra 10 to 30 more years in prison, and what she can do about it now to try to fix it. I explained in my last video that Carmelo's mother apparently hired a family spokesperson, one Dominique Alexander. This Dominique calls himself a minister of justice, whatever that is. Dominique is a convicted felon. He's alleged to have beaten his girlfriend. Then he got a new girlfriend, and when that girlfriend left out of the apartment, the good minister grabbed that woman's 2-year-old baby and shook him until that baby got brain damage. The good minister pled guilty in that case to felony charges. And
how could you have this guy represent you? I don't care what race you are. I don't care what your politics are, or how you believe this went down, or even if you think it's you think it is about race. How could you have this con man, abuser represent you and your family, and take all that money? That was not all of it, but I'm sure that because they provided security when he was bailed out, they found someone to bail him out. I found out it wasn't even the family that paid for the bail. And now, you have this guy still representing you, still out there having these little mini press conferences on Instagram and X, which formerly Twitter. And I just am blown away that they still have this guy representing him. Let's listen.
and was in prison. Now, this is the man that Carmelo's mom chose to speak on Carmelo and the family's behalf. The good baby shaking minister. The minister did exactly what you would expect a convicted felon to do when handling Carmelo's case. He absolutely destroyed it. How? He ostracized the most important person in Carmelo's case. Now,
absolutely. And I did a video on this about a month ago. And where is it at? If you go up there to the right-hand side of the video, I will drop a link to that video.
Now, who is that? Is that the judge? No. Is that the prosecutor? No. The most important person alive in Carmelo's case is actually Jeff Metcalf, the father of the young man that Karmelo Anthony killed, Austin Metcalf. The father, Jeff Metcalf, is the linchpin to Carmelo's entire future. Let me tell you that in a murder case where the victim is gone, the case lives on through the victim's next of kin. When a parent has to bury his child, everyone looks to that.
It really helps the channel to grow bigger and better and more diverse. Not that weird, creepy kind of government diverse. I'll Sam-splain it for you if you want. You want to hear some Sam-splaining? Just like a video down below.
Parent to gauge how to react. Judges consciously and subconsciously look at the parent's facial expression when they're testifying on the witness stand. Prosecutors run all their plea offers through the parents. Reporters knock on the parents' doors for statements, and they aim their cameras at the parents when the verdicts drop. And the jurors, oh my goodness, the jurors hang on every word of the parents. Notice every little movement, every gesture. In this case, Jeff Metcalf, the father, is not just a spectator in the case. He's the conscience of the entire community. If you win Jeff, you win all the sympathy. But if you alienate him, you can go to prison for life. Now, months ago, Jeff Metcalf, the father, he did something unthinkable.
That's exactly what I said before. It's unbelievable. This guy definitely said it in less words than I did. Of course, I Sam-splained it. I can't wait to make those shirts. I need to get my website back up and running, but I just can't afford it right now. Let's listen.
Reporters, as they always do, shoved a microphone in this grieving father's face and asked him, how do you feel about this Karmelo Anthony? Do you know what he said? Jeff Metcalf said, and I quote, "You know what? I've already forgiven this person. Already." Now, that is amazing. It's amazing that Jeff would have the strength to do that, because I would be incapable of that. The maturity, the wisdom, the strength, I just would not have it. Now, that baby shaking minister is not going to know this, but when a father makes a statement like that, a statement of forgiveness, the entire Carmelo team has to drop everything. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Your entire legal strategy has to change. I can tell you as an attorney that you call an emergency meeting with all the lawyers, all the family, maybe PR consultants if the family has means for that. You bring everyone together to get them on the same page and let them know that this case will revolve around one person, Jeff Metcalf, the father. So when Carmelo's mother heard what Jeff said about her son, what do you think that this lady did? She handed the microphone at a press conference to the baby shaking minister of justice. And at that press conference where Jeff Metcalf showed up to pray with the family, the baby shaking minister called the police and had Jeff kicked out. Like, can you believe it? They kicked Jeff Metcalf, who came there to pray. They kicked him out of the press conference. The entire spectacle went viral within an hour. And do you know what else? Carmelo Anthony's prison sentence was prolonged by 10 to 25 years within that same hour. Now, why do I say that? What did the family show Jeff in that instance? Jeff, the father. They showed Jeff that there was no remorse. They showed Jeff that there would be no mutual prayers. There would be no reconciliation. Showed that man nothing but hostility and aggression. The same hostility, the same aggression maybe that was at that track meet that fateful afternoon, that was under that tent.
let me just say too, and maybe I need to do a story on this, but it's come out that the Anthony family have been allegedly been making and help producing these fake TikTok interactions where they have a guy come on and it says they're Jeff Metcalf and he uses the N-word and and is yelling and screaming at people. And Jeff has shown no behavior like that whatsoever. And they're just the clips just blow me away. We've just had so much other news with John O'Keefe, justice for John O'Keefe after the Karen retrial, and just news stories like the Diddy verdict and things like that I haven't been able to cover it yet. But if it's something that you guys would be interested, just let me know. It's beyond understanding, and time out humanity definitely is called it. They're just sociopaths. They have to be. Now, clinically, are they sociopaths? Who knows? Like I'm not one to diagnose. I don't know the DSM that well any longer, not since the 90s when it was the 3. Now it's like the 5. But it's definitely sociopathic behavior, just the lack of remorse. So let's
some of you are not going to appreciate how important this father is. You just don't know how these criminal sentences work. I see your comments on YouTube and Twitter. You think, oh, this person killed that person, so put the killer in prison and throw away the key. Put him there for life. That's what you guys say. You have no idea. I will tell you that people kill people all the time, and the sentences range from insanity on the low end to insanity on the high end. Now, who controls where the sentence is going to fall? At the end of the day, it is the sentiment of the community that will decide. And in this case, Jeff Metcalf is at the center of that entire community. Now, let's do this. Let's suppose it is your first day of law school, and I am your criminal law professor. I am going to tell you some quick facts, and you tell me the sentence that you would give in this scenario if you were the jury, if you were the judge. But first, and this is important, put right now for the record what you think Carmelo should be sentenced to in the comments. Put it below. Now, here is the quiz. I want everybody to take it. Here's the first case, 4 cases. A 16-year-old in Texas, basically the same age and state of Carmelo. He gets hammered, consuming alcohol, consuming drugs. He does the whole thing. He gets behind the wheel of a vehicle. Of course, he gets into an accident. Now, here's the thing. He kills 4 people. He intentionally gets hammered and gets cooked, and then he takes 4 lives. Now, little law student of mine, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to determine how many years in prison you would give him. Ready? Go. And while you are considering your sentence, just know that in this case, the Affluenza case, if you're old enough to remember, this young man, he took 4 lives. But how many years did the judge give him? Well, the judge gave him 10 years for taking 4 lives. 10 years. But here's the kicker. It wasn't 10 years of prison. The judge gave him 10 years of straight probation. This man took 4 lives and got a straight probationary sentence. Not 1 day in prison. Did you guess it? Did you guess 0 years? Now, here is the second of 4 scenarios. A football player gets hammered just the same. He gets into his Bentley, he's an NFL player, and starts speeding. Of course, he runs over a guy, kills him dead. How many years in prison did this NFL player get for the killing? Now, the victim is gone forever. You got 5 seconds to guess. How many years? And while you are considering how many years, all you football fans know that Mike Vick, the quarterback of the great Atlanta Falcons, got 2 years in prison for dog fighting. That's 2 years in prison for dogs. How many years did this NFL player get for actually killing a man? That's right. Dante Stallworth gets hammered, gets in his car, and kills a man in the street. He gets 30 days in the county jail. No prison at all. Just 30 days in jail. Mike Vick gets 2 years in prison. for dogs. Now, my little law student, you ask, well, how can that be? What happened in that case?
I really
Well, I'll
like this
tell you,
guy.
Dante Stallworth showed extreme remorse. He apologized. And most importantly, he reached a financial settlement with the family. Dante went into his pocket and got the family on his side. Now, let me ask you, did Carmelo Anthony's family do that? Dante slid the victim's family some money. Carmelo Anthony's family got over $500,000. Did Carmelo's mom do any of that? Did the mom even offer to pay for the funeral? Guys, I'm going to tell you, you do not know there are so many levels to criminal law. Now, 2 more quizzes to go. You're my law student and you are guessing these sentences, but there are a few of you that are listening, maybe 4 to 6, that are going to get an A in my class. You're going to be the A students. You're going to say, well, Professor Lead, I can distinguish those cases. In both of those cases, yes, the defendants did kill their victims, but it really wasn't intentional because they were under the influence and they were driving. The Carmelo Anthony case is different. It was not vehicular. It was with a knife. There was direct violence. Now, if you thought of that, then you would get an A in my class. That's a great point. So let me give you a case that is a little closer to home. Now, let's take a pause from this Carmelo Anthony insanity for a second to have a quick word from our sponsor, Chapter Medicare. If someone
really
you
like this
love
guy,
is on
man.
Medicare, this matters. The Department of Ash Chapter dumpster fire. A guy gets mad at his wife, and rightly so. He thinks that she's cheating on him. He goes and loads up his shotgun. He goes outside where she's standing. Now, she's unarmed and she's recording him on her phone. He cocks the shotgun and points it directly at her teeth. He says, all right, goodbye. You are going to meet Jesus. And then he blows her away. She was unarmed and in Texas. Do you know who else was unarmed? Do you know who else was in Texas? That's right, Anthony Metcalf, Carmelo's victim. Now, the jury in the case with the husband gave that man just 10 years in prison, and he is eligible for parole after only 5 years. Think about it, 5 years in prison for a straight up killing. One of you would have said, lock him up for life, lock him up forever.
Sorry, guys, I didn't know my video went out.
Now you ask, well, Professor Lead, why so little time? The defense team in that case did a great job humanizing the husband. The jury on his side. The jury didn't hate the killer. In Carmelo's case, do you think Carmelo, if Austin's father pleaded with the jury for mercy, pleaded with the jury, praying and reconciling, listening to Jeff's victim, would be crying, the bailiffs would be crying, the attorneys would be crying, the jury. At the end of the day, we are all human. Carmelo would have been spared. He would have not gotten a lot of time. You can absolutely get a judge and jury know how to do it. Now, and this is the last case, and this is for all of my A students. Let's go back to the vehicular homicide cases. You think that you can get off easy by remember when you thought, oh, well, it's because the guy who killed 4 people was driving. That's why he got 0 years in prison. Okay, that guy killed 4 people. What about a guy that killed 6 people in his car at a parade? You've got 5 seconds to consider how many years this guy would get for killing 6 people. If the first years in prison for killing 4 people, people. How many years in prison did this guy get for killing 6 people? All right, you got your answer? Don't you know that this guy got 1,000 years? 1,000. They calculated it out to like 1,067 years. He got 6 life sentences and an additional 760 years for the people that he hurt with his car. Now, how do you go from 0 to 1,000? Well, this guy got every single person in the community to hate him.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that trial, but it was pretty crazy. Sorry guys, I lost connection to my camera. I don't know what's going on with it. It's a camera that I've had for a really long time that I just decided to start using. And I just don't have a backup camera hooked up. But yeah, so I mean, I guess you can see it all really stems on how you show remorse after the crime, and especially when there's so much guilt, and they're never going to win a self-defense case, and if they had a chance of winning that self-defense case, it's definitely not going to happen now, but just by the way they've reacted since the event. Well, guys, I don't want to continue the show with my avatar, and I apologize for my camera. Don't worry, I will get it all figured out. What, my sound is bad? Yeah, I think my computer I'm losing resources. So why don't we just call it a day, guys? Thank you so much for the 2 super chats, Shannon Trim and AG Agaga. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate you guys. Remember, happy 4th of July, and remember to be kind when you're out there. And if you see anything going on, you see people that look like their head is hung down low, just say, hey, excuse me, are you okay? I just want to let you know, man, that, you're not alone, whatever. I know sometimes it can be a little weird to do that with strangers, but sometimes it really makes someone's day, and you might just save someone's life. And I don't think that's a grandiose statement. I really do. I really think you can save someone's life with just a pleasant comment, or sometimes maybe even just a hello, how are you doing? So anyways, guys, you guys all have an amazing day. I know I am going to spend some time with the Sam fam, and maybe I'll see you guys tonight. If not, I'll for sure see you guys tomorrow. Have a happy 4th.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay